Okay, as part of in the last class, right? Like we saw how the session is creating, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And how uniquely we can able to identify each user from the
Yes.
server side. So just by creating this session.
Yes.
Okay, the session ID will be giving back as part of the response. So the session ID will be saved into your browser, and the same session ID will be going to the server as part of next second request. Again, it will coming
Yes.
back from the as part of response, so that we are maintaining the session.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's suppose say for instance there is one application is there or one server is there. Inside that, like how many people, how many users are logged in currently. So let's consider this is a server and this is user 1, this is user 2, this is user 3. So all people are trying to access the server. Maybe one application,
Mm-hmm.
you can consider Gmail or Facebook, something like that. So this is server. So how to know how many people currently are in active? How many people are logged in? And how many people are just now logged out? So
Mm-hmm.
how to count? Like basically we need to see here how many active sessions are there. In that
Okay.
active session some people might log out, right? Some people, session will expire, or some people session will log out, or they will log out, or session will expire, something will happen, correct? So that active user count will reduce, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how to see how many sessions are created, and how to know how, when the session, count got decreased or increased, such kind of scenarios. Okay, so for
Okay.
that purpose, so what I did in the last session, we have created one a listener. So these are called listeners. What is the purpose of these listeners? If there is some activities going on, it will execute and it will try to give some information. So session is created one activity, and the second activity session is got expired, or someone logged out. So these are the activities, right? So based on these activities, we can able to maintain some count or number.
Okay.
So that is the main purpose of these listeners. Okay, there are so
Okay.
many listeners is there. So one of the listeners is HTTP session listener.
Okay.
Okay. So first what you have to do, we have to create a servlet and we need to implement the HTTP servlet listener. So this is an interface, and inside that you have two methods: session
Session
create
created.
and session destroyed. So two methods. Okay. And inside that, what I want to do, I want to declare one global variable int active count. Default I had given a 0.
Okay.
Okay, now so whenever a new session is created, so that time what will happen, this method will be executed, session created.
Okay.
Okay, inside that what I want to do, I want to increase my active count.
Okay.
So I will do pre-increment. After that what I will do, I will print this value, current active count. So for if once the user is logged in, new session will be created and this method will be executed and the count will be increased.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let me display this one, active count. So here what I will do, just I will add new user added. Okay, so if one new user is added, so count will increase and I will display the count. Okay,
Okay.
let's suppose say for instance one user got logged out or session got expired. So then what we have to do, we have to decrease the count, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I will do, I will make this one as a minus minus, and user got removed. Now I will display the current count.
Okay.
So you will see these kind of examples, right, in Naukri or some of the freelancer. If you see if you logged in, right, so they will display some count, current active count. It's the number is keep on changing.
Yes. Yes. Current number of
Yes,
people
active
viewing.
users something logged in something, right?
Mm.
So the how they will count, by using the similar way they will count the current logged in users.
Got it.
Okay, now let me deploy this application. Okay, now let me open. So what is the port number? 5050. So this is our application, correct? So first time I'm trying to log in. ABC PQR. Just click. So ABC logged in successfully. And did you see there? Active count is 1.
One.
New
Yes,
user
yes.
is created. So what I will do, I will log in from different browser, means different user basically. Now I'm trying to
Okay.
log in from the Firefox. So this is the different users. So the count should increase, right? Okay, first
Mm-hmm.
let me access. So now let me add some PQR123, some password. Click. Not now. PQR logged in successfully. And what happened? The current count it is showing. Yes. See what happened? Did you see there? I had given the session expiry time is 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, the previous user, whatever new user is created, that got removed from the server.
Okay.
Did you
So
see there?
if you refresh the
Less than
the
one
other
minute, that
browser.
the session will be inactive.
Okay. Now if you refresh the other browser, will that user be logged out?
Yes, that we have to write a little bit code. We have to check the see now the second user also logged out, removed.
Hmm.
So we have to basically we have to give the
So can
time.
you go back to the browser? The browser. Can you go back to one
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the browsers?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Tell me.
So now if you refresh this, it will not say ABC logged in, no?
So if you refresh this one, what will happen? It will create a new session.
Oh, okay, okay,
But
okay.
we should not allow that one. So we have to write a little bit logic. If this user is trying to give some session, so whenever you
Hmm.
refresh, right, what it will do, this browser is having some session, right, inside the cookie.
Yes, yes.
But that session ID is not there in the session server side. Why? Because it is already removed.
Got it, got it.
So now you know, right, the logic. The
Hmm.
browser is trying to give some session, but that session ID is not there in the server side. So we have to give a message back to the sorry to the user. Your session is already expired. Please log in again. So
Got it.
if browser is giving some session, we need to check that session is available in server or not. If it is there, then we have to proceed. If it is not there, we need to give back a message like session is already expired.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's what, right? Like if you do any banking transactions, once you logged out, the browser will close automatically.
Got it. Yes, yes.
Otherwise, they will take the session ID someone and they will try to hit the server. So server don't know,
Got it.
right, whether you are a genuine person or it's a basically stateless. It's not able to identify. If you give some valid
Okay.
session, you can able to log in. That's all.
Okay. Okay. I
That is
got
the
it.
one question. And second thing is, if you see banking website, right? So the browser URL you are not able to edit. Basically, you are not able to select.
Hmm.
If you can able to select means you can able to add. If you see this some sample URL, so username equal to ABC, right? So I can change
Yeah.
this to PQR.
Hmm.
So this is illegal, right? So that's what the browser, I mean URL you are not able to edit for banking websites and all.
Okay. So, but you will still see the username displayed like that.
They will not display. They will use the post method.
Yes. Okay.
So that's I mean in some cases they will use the get and you will see some browser information, but most of the 99% they will use post. So you are not able to see any browser information. but
Got
still
it.
they are disabling because you can able to send, you can able to add some one parameter like this
Mm-hmm.
abc equal to value something. So this is also, it will go to the server,
Got it.
but we should not do such kind of activities, right? So they will disable the browser URL basically.
Okay.
And now let me add the server time more than 1 minute. Why? Because it's for every 1 minute the user is removing. So user is removing. So let me add the time more than 1 minute where the session is creating. So inside the login servlet, we are giving time as 1 minute. See here we had given 1 minute, right? So because of that, every 1 minute the session is trying to log out. So what I will do, I will give 2 minutes now instead of 1 minute, so that we can able to check the count. So once you did that one, then you have to restart the server. So once you restart the server, what will happen inside the server? This count we are maintaining, right? The sessions and all. So that will be removed. All the session IDs will be removed from the session server database. So now let me log in and we will see the count. Those now I'm trying to log in something. So user is logged in successfully and now current count is 1. Now let me log in with some different browser or different client. XYZ. Already one user is there. This is second user. So now current count is 2. If you wait for 2 minutes, the count will become 1 now. Now total users are, now let me log in from IE. So basically this is the third user basically. So 2 minutes over, already one got removed. So two users got removed basically. Now there is no users at all because 2 minutes already over.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the again the count will become 1. So now the current count is 1. So this is the way we can able to maintain the active session users in a particular application or server. And this number you can display in the UI side wherever you want.
Okay.
And this is clear, right? The
Yes, yes.
session and listeners. So there are so many listeners are there. I explained one listeners like session listener. Say for instance, if you want to see
Mm-hmm.
this request object is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you logged in, so this request object will be created by the server and this request and response. Okay. So if you want to know how many request objects are creating in a particular request, so we have another listener called request listener. So how to create that one? Right click, new, select listener, give the name, give the class name as a request listener, and a super class you can select here. So these are the possible listeners.
Okay.
And see, did you see the
Session
HT
listener.
servlet
Uh,
request attribute listener
Okay.
binding? So these are the possible listeners basically.
Life cycle has a session listener.
Yes, yes. So you can select whatever listener you want. And so here, right? So there is another listener, HTTP session attribute listener. So what is the purpose of this listener? So inside your session, you can able to add n number of fields. I will show you that one now. Logged in here. Receiver, yeah, login servlet. So here we are getting session, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So inside your session, if you want to keep some data,
Mm.
so if you see your once you logged in into Gmail, right, or anywhere, so you will see username always. Any if you go to any page, you will see your name on the top of the
Mm-hmm.
page. So how they are maintaining that particular name, what they will do, once they got this session dot set attribute. So what is the purpose of set attribute? If you want to save some information into the session, so you can add
Mm-hmm.
here my name. So you can add here my name is ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now what you did, you are trying to add one value is this one, and key you are giving as a my name. So this
Okay.
key value pair will be available inside your session till you log out. So you can
Okay.
able to retrieve at any point of time from login to log out at any point of time.
So what is my name, by the way?
So my name is a key basically. So how to retrieve the value? Okay, let me.
So what is the purpose of doing
So
it like
this
this?
one, let's say for first time you logged in and you want to you got some data from the database.
Okay.
Okay, and if you want to keep that particular data into session for, let's suppose you will be logged in till half an hour, you are doing some activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want the data, I mean half an hour, whenever you need, you no need to go back to hit the database and again you no need to just get the data one time and save into session.
Got it.
So how,
Okay.
so whenever you need, you can retrieve like a session,
Mm.
how to dot get attribute, and we have to give the key name. What is the key name I had given here? My name. So it
Mm-hmm.
will give ABC. At any point of time, you can able to retrieve.
But in actual scenario, this is we are hard coding the set attribute field, right? In actual scenario, we'll have to pull something from the database itself and save it.
Yes, here right now I'm hard coding the ABC. You can, in actual scenario, you can retrieve the data whatever you want from the database, and you can keep here.
Mm.
So that way, I mean this key value pair is available only for this particular user.
Got it. Got it.
That way we can able to maintain different key value pairs for different users.
Mhm.
So as long as the session is active, you can able to retrieve this value at any point of time.
Okay.
So if you want to know how many fields are added into the session, so this listener we have to use session attribute listener something. Just so these are the session attribute listener, session active listener. So these are the listeners basically. So whenever you are adding any fields to the session, so you can use this one, HTTP session I mean attribute listener. So what is the purpose? If you are trying to add one field into the session, so it will give some, this listener will be executed, and inside that if you want to do something, you can able to do it.
Okay.
And these are the basically some of the listeners. The main we used to, I mean use in our day-to-day life, the HTTP session listener. And now this is listeners are clear, right? So basically you will get a question, I mean how you are going to validate a particular event in in a particular request.
Okay.
So you have to use basically listeners, I mean to measure or to validate the activities of a request or response or session or anything.
Okay.
This is clear, right, the listeners?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now the second topic is filter. So what is the purpose of filter? Say for instance, you are trying to log in into a particular application. So if you see in Gmail or Facebook and all, right, so if you whenever you are trying to log in into the Gmail, so first time you will get only username, correct? So they will not display username and password immediately.
Mm.
So why they are not displaying username and password immediately? Because this is just for a security purpose. Some 2-3 years before, right, that Gmail people, they are displaying username and password, I mean, immediately in one place. But nowadays, right, they are not displaying the username and password in one shot. Why? Because just to provide more security. Okay,
So in the link you can see.
yeah, I will show you now only. So now I already logged in. Okay, let me remove.
Oh, you mean in separate pages it will show.
Yeah, so you see here, this is the Gmail login page, right? So
Hmm.
here you will get only enter, please enter your email ID. They are not asking immediately the password. See,
Yes, yes,
they're
yes.
asking only email. Why they are not displaying password box here?
Hmm.
The same way, if you go for your HDFC bank accounts, first they will ask your account ID. They will not ask immediately the password.
Hmm. So
So
that is
why?
a new way of doing it.
Yeah, this is why, because the hackers, right? So if you'll provide, I mean, both fields, username and password together in one shot, what will happen? No? So they can get some of the some information about you. Maybe you can enter username and password, and it will hit directly your database.
Okay,
There might be a chance they can hack your application. So
got it,
don't give a
got it.
chance. Maybe they don't know username and they don't know the password. Just randomly they are trying to hit your server and they are trying to get one valid username.
Okay,
So that's what, right? So I mean just this thing they did some 2 years before 2 years, right? What they're displaying in a right hand side here, username and password. I don't know, right? Some 2-3 years before, the Gmail people, they are displaying username and password right hand side on the top side here.
okay,
Due to that hacking and all is happening, now they are not giving a chance to the user to enter both username and password together. So first they are trying to validate whether username is a valid or invalid.
okay,
If username is valid, then they are giving an option to provide to enter the password. So if you'll enter
okay,
here
got it.
something, some junk value, say I will not get that password text field.
Hmm.
So if I'll enter,
It has to be proper format.
yes, if I'll enter some valid username, then I will get the
So,
password. So how they are validating this one? So basically they are using some filters. So what is the purpose of this filter? First we have a server, okay,
okay,
and the users, what they will do, they will try to hit the your server, okay. Inside your server we have a servlets, correct? So many
yes,
servlets. Servlet login, servlet user validate servlets. There are so many servlets, correct? So once user is
yes,
logged in, first before accessing the main resource, the login is a very crucial operation, right? Validating the username and password. So don't allow users, I mean, directly accessing the login, I mean, activities. So before accessing the login and validating the username and password, first validate at least the username is a valid one or not.
okay,
So first, whenever they're trying to hit a login servlet, just add one filter kind of thing. First, here what you will do, you can validate whether the username is valid, or if the username is valid, you can you can allow that user to reach the login servlet. If username is
okay,
invalid, just send back response.
got it.
So that is the main purpose of the filters. So before reaching the main resource, we are adding one filter. So this is the filter. So once request will come from the user, so what filter will do? Filter will validate this request is a genuine request or not.
Okay,
If it is a genuine one, you can proceed it. Some request will come and it will identify, it will add some conditions, and if it is identified that this is not a genuine request, then it will send back.
okay,
So that way we can minimize the risk, correct?
yes,
So this is the one way, I mean, to identify the valid request, or if you want to convert the data. Let's suppose user is sending some data. If you want to convert the data to some different format, then you can do this kind of conversion in filter and send the request back to the server.
got it.
So these are the some of the I mean advantages of the filters.
Hmm.
Okay. And now the second question is, there are so many requests like login servlet. and update servlet. There is so many servlets is there. So how to add a filter for a particular request only for login, only for update.
Okay.
So how to register a particular filter for a particular action. So this is second question. Okay. So this one
Yes.
we will
Yes.
see. So what I will do, I will add one filter. So right now we have here, a login servlet and one listener. So what I will do, I will create one filter.
Mm-hmm.
So before trying to log in, I want to do some validation. Before reaching a request to the login servlet, I want to validate whether that particular username is a valid one or invalid one. If it is a
Okay.
valid one, then only I will allow. If it is invalid user ID, then I will not allow.
Okay.
Okay, so how to create a filter? So what you will do, just right click here, go to other, just type here filter. So here you can give the filter, login filter. Sorry, this is the package name. Com dot login dot filter. So this is a package name and the class name I'm giving as a login filter. And super class I will select. We need to select super class as a filter.
Okay.
So this is the super class. So basically this is the interface. If you see the listeners, your the super class is HTTP session listener. So in this case, the super class is HTTP filter. Basically javax.servlet.filter. So finish it. We will see that implementation and all. So let me clear it. And let me clear it. Okay, so this is the filter I created, login filter, and the super class here is filter. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
basically filter is an interface, and this interface, right, is having some methods like a destroy. This is a constructor,
Okay.
and this is a
Okay.
destroy. So now we will see the life cycle of this filter.
So do filter and all.
hmm Yeah, I will tell you. So first, this is a constructor. So constructor, once the object is created, the constructor will be executed. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. After that, once the constructor creation is done, so it will execute the init method.
Okay.
It will, so this will be executed only one time.
Okay.
Okay. Once the one time means whenever the once the server is restarted, for the as part of the first request, object will be created and constructor will be executed and the init method will be executed. After that, it will execute the do filter method.
Got it.
Okay. Okay. Once whenever you are trying to restart your server, you are making down your server, then the
Mm.
object will be removed from the server, correct? So that time it will execute
Yes.
the destroy method.
Okay.
So these are the life cycles:
Okay. Okay.
constructor, init method. After that, do filter. For every request it will execute. Once you are making restarting your server, then the object will be removed from the session. That time it will be executed.
Okay.
So if you want to see the
And
life, yeah,
the destroy one.
yeah, yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I know. When will destroy be executed? Is it after the timing?
There is no timing. Whenever you are restarting your server, then it will remove all the
Okay.
objects, right, in the memory.
Okay.
So that time
Then
this destroy will be executed. So I will show you that one. I will add one sysout and so that you can able to see.
okay.
Login filter. This is a constructor, right? So let me add. some as part of some of the interviews, right, they will give you some question. So tell me how you are going to solve this problem. So you use listeners or filters or session or whatever. How you will solve
Mm-hmm.
it. So such kind of questions, if you know these concepts very well, so you can apply listener or filter, and you can able to resolve it.
Okay.
And if you see here, right, just going back, so first request is coming and it will come to the filter, correct? From
Yes.
filter it will go to the servlet, again it will come back to the filter, and again it will give back the response, correct?
Yes.
So it will come to the filter and go to the servlet, again it will come back to the filter, and again it will go back to the user. Okay.
Yes.
And now, and do filter entry, I will write here entry. And so do get, right, so first once the request will come, so do filter will execute, and if you say if it is a valid request, then it will execute chain dot do filter. What it will do, it will forward the request to the corresponding servlet.
Okay.
After that it will come back and it will execute exit. After that, let me add here also one init method, so that we will see all the life cycle. Okay, now the filter I created the filter. Now we need to register this filter for which action it should be executed. So I want to execute this filter for login servlet.
Okay.
Okay, go back to your web.xml, and if you see here, the filter is already created. Filter is already created. So what is the filter name? Yeah, so this is the filter name, filter servlet,
Mm-hmm.
filter name, and this is the filter mapping. So as part of the filter mapping, we have to give the URL pattern as the login servlet.
Okay.
So what is the purpose of this URL pattern? So whenever you are trying to access the login servlet, before accessing the login servlet, first this filter will be executed.
Okay.
Once this execution is done successfully, then the request will be transferred to this login servlet.
Got it.
Okay, now go back and redeploy this one. Okay, now server is restarted, and see, just now I restarted the server, right?
Yes.
If you see here, login filter constructor is executed,
Mm.
and init method also executed.
Yes.
Because this is the life cycle. First constructor, after that init method. Now what I will do, I will try to hit this server.
Okay.
Okay, let me refresh it. Okay, let me add something. Submit. Now we will see the log. Login servlet created. See, do you see the login filter
Yes.
entry?
Yes.
After that, it went to login servlet and it display all those things, the session, all those things. After that, it executed finally login filter exit.
Got it. Got it. Mm-hmm.
So this is the life cycle basically. So before reaching the servlet, the filter is executing.
Mm.
Say for instance here, login filter. So here, right, so you have the request object also.
Mm-hmm.
So you can read the request object here, request dot get parameter. So if you want to read username, you can read here, string user name equal to. So if you want, you can able to read the username here, and if you want to validate with the database, you can validate it. If you feel that username is invalid one, then write here a condition. If ABC dot equals username. So if the username is ABC, then
Mm-hmm.
you can allow to proceed the request to reach the servlet. Else you can, I mean, if you if the username is not equal to ABC, then if you don't want to allow to reach the user to the servlet, then you can add the else block and you can add here response. Yeah, this one I mean maybe I will tell you tomorrow. This is so right now only if the username is ABC, then you can add a
Mm-hmm.
condition. Then the request will go to the this particular filter, servlet, login servlet. Okay.
Okay.
If the username is not equal to ABC, you write else block and you can do whatever you want. So you can display here
Okay.
and the response dot get put stream dot print invalid user.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see this one. So
So
if the
here also we are hard coding the username, right?
just for testing.
Yes,
So
yes.
in real
In
case,
actuality, the username will be
you can check with the database.
yes, exactly.
And you see, this whenever I'm doing some change, right, I will
Mm-hmm.
save this. I will save this login filter, right? So that time, what will happen? Server will automatically redeploy this file. At that time, it will execute the destroy method.
Got it. Got it.
So that is the life cycle of destroy. And again, it will execute the destroy. Again, it will restart the server, and again, object will be created. Again, init will be created.
Yes.
So these are the life cycle method. Now, what I will do? I will execute it by passing username is ABC and I will try with XYZ also. What will happen? Okay, now let me open a browser. Just the browser. Okay, now what I will do? First, I will enter ABC username and something else. So you will get this. So invalid user. I think I have not given here a username field. I'm not
Mm.
reading the username properly. So what is the username? So this is the one. Copy. Basically, I'm not reading the username properly. So now I'm reading the username. Now let me restart it. Okay. Yeah. So now what I will do? First, I will enter valid username. Valid username is ABC, and the
Mm.
password is something XYZ.
Mm.
So it is telling ABC logged in successfully. And
Yes.
okay, and if you see here, right, you can able to see the username we are reading, current session,
Password.
and the
Mm.
session ID we are printing. This everything we are printing in basically inside your servlet.
Yes.
Okay, now what I will do? I will enter some invalid username. Now go back. So I will enter ABC123 and
Mm.
password is something else. Now let me submit it. Now you are getting invalid user, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And see here, did you able to reach login servlet?
No.
So this is
Do
the way.
filter.
Yes, I don't want to entertain that kind of users. Invalid username. If you are trying to enter, I don't want to validate whether username, password is valid or invalid. First I need a valid
The
username.
first itself it will check.
Yes. So
Yes.
filter it will not allow basically.
Mm. Mm.
And the logic here, this is simple way. So right now I'm ABC here, I'm add coding in real time. They will cross check with the database. Based on that, they will take a decision. Do we need to allow this request or we need to display invalid user message?
Okay. Okay.
So this is the
This,
way.
this
Yeah.
filter, what exactly did it do again? The uh, it will check, right?
Yes, yes, it will validate the username with the database. Right now here just I'm hard coding abc dot equals whatever you are entering, but in real time, so what they will do, they will take this username and they will connect with the database and they will check whether this username is a valid one or invalid one. So based on that they will take decision.
Yes, yes, okay.
If username is a valid one, they will display username and password. If the username is invalid one, they will display a red message, please enter a valid username.
Got it, got
So
it,
that way we can minimize the risk basically.
got it. Yes.
Okay, and that's all for today. And tomorrow what I am going to tell, so as of now, right, so right now we are going to hit only one servlet, correct?
Yes.
Say for instance, if you want to from the browser you are hitting one servlet s1, and if s1 from s1 if you want to go to the another servlet s2,
Okay.
from s2 if you want to go to the s3.
What is the purpose of that?
So let's suppose inside s1 you are doing some logic, and inside and after that, once you are doing some logic, after that you are trying to do another logic in s2, so you need to get some results.
Okay.
So if you see our classes, right, like calculator, so inside the calculator add method is there, subtract method is there, so we are writing different methods, right? So